How are y'all doing? I started my career in timeshare in 2003 with a company called Sell My Timeshare Now. And I went to my first ARDA in 2006, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't make any friends. And so I scheduled a meeting with Howard, and he says, Jason, that's like take my wife, please. I mean, so anyway, I sold that company in 2012. And so what I've been up to most recently, the last few years, is I partnered with the love of my life, Brooke, to create a company called Seychelle Media. And we've been really, really deep in the weeds on using social media with a very heavy emphasis on Facebook and Instagram for lead generation. And it's interesting because a lot of us, when we hear like Facebook, we think, well, it's something we have to do because somebody told us we had to do it. But the truth is, there's a tremendous amount of opportunity that exists in leveraging Facebook's partnership with big data. And so that's what I want to talk to you about. I'm not sure how this works.
Arrow right and arrow left.
Okay, so just out of curiosity, who is on Facebook personally, has a personal profile? Okay, cool. So if you think about, just by virtue of having a profile on Facebook, what does Facebook know about you? They know your age, they know where you went to school, they know who all of your friends are, they know who your family is, they know your relationship status, they know what you like, they know what you love. When you really think about, just by virtue of having a profile, what Facebook knows about you, it's pretty profound. And when you then consider that over the last really 3 years or so, Facebook has been, I would say, relatively quietly been partnering with all of the big data companies, it gets downright scary. So Facebook has forged data sharing agreements with almost every big data company in the world. So here in the US, probably the biggest are Acxiom. Acxiom alone has over 3,000 different data views on every consumer in America, but it also includes Epsilon, TransUnion, Experian, Oracle. And so these data companies, what do? Well, basically they collect data and they find ways of viewing and segmenting all of us as consumers. And so what most don't understand, and this is where the opportunity is for us as marketers, is all of that data has been, through these data sharing agreements, ultimately associated with your Facebook profile. So let me give you an anecdotal example. Who here has an American Express card? Okay. So American Express is a client of Acxiom, which is one of the biggest data companies in the world. And because of the data sharing agreement that Acxiom has with American Express, and because of the data sharing agreement that Acxiom has with Facebook, if you have an American Express account and you have a Facebook profile, your entire transactional history with American Express has been associated with your Facebook profile. So if you went to Capitol Grill last night and had a stoli-doli, Facebook knows. If you flew here on American Airlines and arrived at 3:40 p.m. yesterday, Facebook actually knows that. So I know that sounds a little bit scary, but think about that from a marketing perspective, what that makes possible. So when you introduce the data sharing agreements that exist through these partnerships, what targeting is available? Well, it's a lot more than the fact that you have a relationship status of married, or relationship status of complicated, or you went to school at Lyman High School. It's actually a lot deeper than that. These data sharing agreements allow us as marketers to target people, for example, based on their FICO score. Are there any developers interested in FICO score? It allows us as marketers to target people based on their income, their net worth, their liquid assets, what they've recently searched for, even websites they've recently visited. So for example, if somebody recently went to a website regarding a particular destination, Facebook actually knows that through their data sharing agreements with Oracle in that case. Propensity to buy a timeshare. There's actually 2 data companies, Oracle is one of them, that have actually created data models around what type of person and what specific attributes, and there are hundreds of them, make up the model of a human being that has a propensity to buy a timeshare. Anybody frightened yet? Who's closing their Facebook app? Anybody? So these are just examples of some of the targeting opportunities, but it's almost infinite. It's actually crazy what's actually possible. So I just wanted to give you some examples. This is a timeshare group. We actually do lead generation in a lot of different verticals, not just timeshare, but timeshare is where our heart is, and so I wanted to give you some real-world examples. So here's a day drive example. This is targeting people that are residents of Las Vegas. It's targeting people that meet a certain criteria that our developer client was interested in. So people that were married, that were residents of Las Vegas, plus 25 miles, fit into a certain age group. We found in testing that green card holders didn't perform well enough and platinum card holders didn't buy, so we focus on gold American Express card holders. Household income, propensity to travel within 90 days, and they fit into the TransUnion 3rd quartile for FICO score range. And so we simply placed this ad that you see over on the right with an airline cert that the developer client wanted us to promote, and the results have been tremendous in 2 ways. One is the cost. The cost is so much lower than any other means of driving a day drive. And then 2, the VPGs are very good because of the targeting that we do. So here's a MiniVac example. And we work now with, it's either 17 or 18 timeshare developers. This is just one that I chose just as an example because we all know Orlando. So this is a 4.3, $69 MiniVac, targeting married South Florida. We were using a Personix, which is a data company, mommy and toddler audience, which by the way is made up of all kinds of attributes, but it's a good audience. People that are homeowners with an estimated home value of $200,000 to $350,000. We also got data from Oracle, the Oracle Data Cloud, and targeted people that have an affinity for the Disney parks. And also an economic stability score of 6 to 10 because we don't want just VPGs, we want portfolio performance for our clients. This is my favorite, virtual OPC. I've been told OPC is expensive, and I think this is probably one of the best examples of how we in timeshare can innovate and move beyond and make like paradigm shifts in terms of what's possible. So Oracle has partnerships with Visa. They have partnerships with all of the major airlines. We can actually target people based upon their arrival date on a particular airline into a particular destination. We can actually geofence an airport. So imagine this. Imagine you're a timeshare developer, and let's say, for example, you have a property in Las Vegas. Imagine when the airplane lands in Las Vegas, and by the way, what's the first thing people do when they're on vacation and they get there? They open their Facebook, they take selfies, they check in. We're in Vegas. Woo! We're in Vegas, right? So imagine you open your phone and you see in your Facebook news feed, welcome to Las Vegas. Would you like some free Cirque du Soleil tickets? Opt in, here's how. And then imagine that rather than an OPC guy or gal at a booth somewhere, which is extraordinarily expensive, imagine instead you have somebody in your message center that's on Facebook Messenger basically messaging back and forth. Well, here's how you can claim your free Cirque du Soleil tickets. All you have to do is take a complimentary tour of one of our resorts, give us some feedback, and you've got free tickets to Cirque du Soleil, just as an example. The example I have here, I use because it's a South Florida example. So imagine geofencing Sawgrass Mills, which is the local, for those that don't know, it's one of the biggest outlet malls in America, and lots and lots and lots of tourists, lots and lots and lots of potential timeshare buyers. Imagine geofencing the Sawgrass Mills and saying, how would you like a $200 shopping spree at the Sawgrass Mills? All you have to do is just give us a couple hours of your time, give us some feedback. And in this particular instance, we were using Datalogics, another data company, targeting people that are budget and coupon users, that have children, residents of the Northeast states, and had an Experian FICO range of 640 to 720. Is this cool? It's freaking cool! Sorry. God. Okay, sorry, I get excited. This is one, I just wanted to give you an example of how you can even use Facebook Messenger. So what we did here is we took my LinkedIn audience, so basically the people I'm connected to on LinkedIn, the people that Brooke, you actually saw, so the people that Brooke is connected to on LinkedIn, an old ARDA attendee list, and we also geofenced the boat. So basically we have targeting going on around the Intercontinental right now. And so if you're on Facebook, there's a decent chance, I know several of you have because you've already commented, you've seen this ad that Brooke and I did just saying, hey, get more leads and hire a VPG, message us at GNEX. And the way this works is rather than capturing a lead per se, instead it goes right into Facebook Messenger. It's really kind of cool. And you can actually create what's called a structured message where if you don't have a human being that can respond immediately, you can set up questions like, well, how many leads are you looking for? I'm looking for, and you can give options, 100 to 500, 500 to 1,000. Cool, based on that answer, what's the name of your company? So you can create conversations that basically give you the time to insert an actual human being. Also really, really effective. So several of you are doing this because we have several clients in the room. But for those of you that are not, why should you be doing this? Well, number one, this is highly scalable. Our first client that we worked with in timeshare, they hired us as their full-service digital marketing agency, and I begged for months to give us a chance to test Facebook because I learned and read so much about it. It was just like super exciting. I'm like, man, this is perfect for timeshare. And so finally, they gave us a $500 budget total. And by the way, this is a company that has over $1 billion a year in revenue. But that $500 budget has grown into 8 different ad accounts. And the screenshot that you're looking at here is just one campaign. And you'll see the spend, I know it's hard to see, but it's 1.6 million people. And these are the leads, 75,000 leads, 42,000 leads, 21,000 leads, 37,000 leads. And by the way, this is the lead cost. And the lead cost, it varies. It varies based on, because people always say, well, what's the lead cost? Well, it depends. It depends on the offer. It depends on seasonality. It depends on the destination. You know, a Cancun lead, for example, in September is expensive. A Cancun lead in January is a lot less expensive. But what I can tell you is that the cost when compared to most other traditional sources of lead gen is very, very, very efficient. The other reason that you should be doing this is that pretty consistently, because of the targeting that you're able to do, these leads produce a higher VPG. We have some clients where the only source that rivals our VPG is owner referral, but very consistently the VPG tends to be above average. Lower cost lead source, and then last but not least, for those of you that have lawyers involved, which is probably most of you, you'll be happy to know that the way Facebook works is when you capture the lead, you have full consent to contact, you can call them, you can use a dialer if you wish to. It's TCPA, whatever it's called, the text thing, TCPC, whatever it is, compliant. So you can text message them, you can Facebook message them. So it totally passes the muster of the questions that your lawyers will raise when engaging in a program like this. And last but not least, it's because it's innovative. And I didn't have that as a bullet, but I think that as an industry we all need to innovate. And finally, I'll just close with this. I'm so glad I switched sides. It's way more fun on the developer side, and I'm so happy to serve you guys. So thank you for your time.